Welcome back, everybody, to the Great Property Meets YouTube channel, where we have today one of our previous past expert speakers, Mr. Mike Woods, and we're going to be discussing building regs. We can choose a council inspector or a private inspector, and we have to do this before we start work. Therefore, why would I choose council over private or vice versa? I mean, what's the benefit? I mean, I've used both, but what do you see as the benefit?
Okay, so I think it's relationships, okay, and I think this goes back historic. So you've got a local authority, and no disrespect to any local authority building regs officers who might be watching this, but people's general conception of local authority officers is that they are very immovable, they're not easy to get on with, etc., etc. Whereas the mindset is, if I go to a private inspector and pay him my fee, he's got more of a business head. He's then going to be more approachable in this fashion. But they both have to comply with this, okay? So they're both doing the same compliance, but some people would prefer to use private because they've used them before and they get on well with, but they've used local authority building control and he's not been so helpful. So I'm not using them anymore. I'm going to use the private guys. Now, personally, I've used both, and I get on equally well with them both because my attitude towards them is we have to get along this journey, and this thing's got to be done properly. The project's got to be done properly, and either way, it's going to be done in accordance with this. So it doesn't really bother me either way. But so I think it comes down to the perception of working with the local authority, because if they've been through the mill with planning, and most people will, they then go, I'm not going to deal with the local authority again if I'm going to have that trouble. I'm going to go to private. But you've got to understand, local authority departments are different, and I get on very well with my inspectors. I'm very open. It's I'll phone them up, or I'll get I've been dealing with my local authorities here now for nearly 30 years. So it's and obviously there's changes in staff, but maybe not a lot. Some of them, they're there for life, and their jobs for life in local authority. So I'm on first name terms with a lot of these people. So on emails, it's very easy to discuss. But I'll say, could you get the officer to give me a ring? You ring me up, I'll tell him what I'm doing, and then he'll just arrange to come to site. They come along, I'm open, this is what we're doing, if it's a building notice particularly, and just get on with it, really. And they'll say, yeah, if there's anything you need, let us know, and we'll call in again next week. It's simple as that, really. It's not difficult.
They're very good. I mean, I think it's a bit like life. You get good local authority and good private. People resonate with different people. Absolutely. And also they swap sides of the fence. It's just a case of who do you get on with most, and who have you got relationship with, as you say. And I think that was really telling and spot on for me, that it's about relationship.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you sort of say they come and do inspections. I mean, do they come often? Are there certain stages that they should come at? I mean, I've experienced different things. I mean, the current project that I've just come to the completion on, we've done a lot of structural works. We've put a lot of steels in. We've put gallows brackets where we've removed chimneys. And they came out, and admittedly, it was during lockdown. So they said to us, what we want to do is a light touch type approach with you guys. If you get virtually all of this done to pre-plaster, then we'll come out and do an inspection then, and then we'll see you post-plaster ready for second fix, and then we'll sign you off at the end. So we've had 3 inspections, but I know that's not normal. On projects, there's normally more sign-ups, but what they've asked us to do is bunch together various bits of works before they inspect.
I agree. I think COVID has had a huge effect on the physical site inspections. On a couple of projects I've had in the last 6 months, the building control officer, and I've used local authority building control, he's just said, take some pictures of things for me, Mike, and email them on. Okay. Now, does the fact that I'm in the profession and I'm talking the same language as them give them some comfort that they're dealing with a co-professional, I guess? So there's an element of trust that you're going to do the right thing. But in answer to your question, really, they want to come along at what's called critical stages. And what you've said there is exactly the point. Pre-plaster, so pre-covering anything up. So if you can do a lot of works before you cover up, so before you boarded your beams, I'm sure they wanted to see the pad stones underneath the beam ends, yeah, that you had the necessary bearing and the piers that they were sitting on were correct and in the right manner. And then they'll happily say, right, close it off. So it's this business about closing off. Now, I can give you an example a good few years ago, and it's a few years ago, but it springs to mind. So I was doing a new house. I designed a house for a builder, developer, a good old friend of mine. And this was pre-private building control. And my friend, and he's a very good friend, it can be very awkward. And he had a run-in with the local building inspector. And he sort of had a bit of an argument with him about one thing and another, which wasn't unusual. Told him where to go a couple of times. But then he'd done some work where he'd built a house, it was timber frame, he'd put insulation in the timber frame and he'd boarded. And the inspector came along and said, what insulation have you put in the frame? So he said, I put the necessary 50 mil or 75 mil, which it was back then. And he said, well, I want to see it, open it up. So he said, well, I've skimmed it. He said, yeah, but I want to see what insulation you put in. So he had to cut pockets out randomly around the walls in the house to show he put the requisite insulation in. Now, I laughed actually because he built this rod for his own back. The fact that he'd been awkward early on, this was building inspectors, he's got every right to open up everything. So, and he has the right to do this. So show me. So cut a little square out and patch it, pain in the backside. So listen, the moral of the story is they're there to help you and there's a job to be done. So don't wind each other up and don't get on the wrong side of him because he can make life very difficult for you. But that's their job, to make sure that things are done right. So back to your point, get works done. If you're unsure, call them up. I'm at this stage. Would you like to come and see? I do this all the time. I send them text messages. Hi, George, he's the local guy I'm dealing with at the moment on one job. Hi, George, I've just done this. It's ready for you whenever you want to come and see it. And he's come back to send me some pictures. Great. So if you're clear, honest and open and about getting your job done to the right standard, and why not, then it's an easy ride, So it's as simple as that, Andrew.
No, brilliant. Well, I love the way that you frame it all and the story there as well, because we all know people who will rub people up, and the moral of that story is just get on with building control. They're there to support you in the project, and if you are doing a good job, a quality build, they are not going to frustrate you. They're going to help you get that delivered quicker.
Correct.
And I've never had a run-in like that, and I hope I never do. But I suppose that's my approach to life. Brilliant. Mike, thank you very much. It's goodbye from me, Andrew Roberts, and goodbye from Mike Woods as well.
Thank you very much, everybody, and thanks very much indeed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.